Hello, hello, hello. What's the time? Why, it's time for another Jethro Tull review. If we're really unlucky, there'll be a Stephen Wilson review along later, I guess. Yeah, March is a month full of releases of things. And today, 7th of March 2025, to date the video, it's Jethro Tull. It's Jethro Tull Day, and it doesn't seem long since the last one. And this time we're doing a curious ruminant. You know, somebody ruminates. Could be, again, somebody's mentioned about cow. Again, horns, cow. You're a curious cow. But yeah, it's a Jethro Tull album in that it's Ian Anderson and chums. And I must say that his son is on drums, because people got a bit uppity with me when I criticised the drums last time. They said, "Oh, it's his son," and it's like, well, so I wasn't having a go at his son. I was having a go at the drums. Not making it. Not making it. Why do you have to make it personal? Why do you have to make it personal? Everything's personal with you lot. So yeah, this is I think it's the 197th album by the Tull. I don't know, 24th album. And this comes nearly a full 2 years after Look For, which feels like it was yesterday for me. Is it just me, or is the time just whizzing by? Do you feel it too? Get on with the review, Darren. You're just stalling because you don't know what to say. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, it's. I'm just looking at here. It is 9 tracks, 50 minutes. So it's a bit of a big one. Considering that Rückflöte was just shy of 45 minutes. You've got 5 more minutes here. Now remember, Rückflöte was all about, was it Norse mythology, wasn't it? It was all about that kind of thing, Thor's hammer and stuff like that, and Odin's bell end. So that was interesting. This one is a bit more varied in its content. We've already heard a curious ruminant, which it could be about a philosopher. It could be about a cow chewing cud. It could be Ian playing with us, and he likes to play with his audience, because the first track, Puppet and the Puppet Master, is kind of about that. Who's the puppet? Who's the puppet master? It's about the relationship between the performer and the audience. And it storms along. I quite enjoyed it. But my main beef with all this, and it's just hearing. It's just a hearing thing. It's hearing, isn't it? It's your hearing. Is the production, right? It's the production, and his voice on that first track just is a bit. We know that his voice is a little bit. But there are things that you can do production-wise to improve it. So before I listened to the rest of the record, I went into Logic and I remixed it, and I did some things, and I thickened up his vocal, and I thought, that's better. And I was going to upload it, but then I listened to the rest of the record where they did actually do that production trick on a couple of the tracks, the same thing that I did. And I thought, well, it's a shame that the rest of the record wasn't like that, because there are some times on this where you really hear the thinness and the weakness of his delivery, and there are tricks that you can do to hide that. I think that's good if he's, if he is trying to portray a vulnerability in the song. But some songs it just doesn't work. But yeah, the Puppet and the Puppet Master, again, it's about performing and enjoying the performance and making people happy, and I liked it. I thought it was a lovely opening song. Curious Ruminant, we'd already done that one about ruminating on the nature. Again, it's one of those albums. This is, again, in a recent interview, I think Mr. Ian Anderson, he said how there's an urgency. There's an urgency for him to make more records, to make more music, to make more statements, more artistic statements, because time is running out. And you certainly get the sense of that urgency on this record. This one really does tootle along. It really is. It's like, whew, blimey, it's a real catch your breath record. And Done His Name Hill. Again, it harks back to other songs, that geographically based songs. Tipu House was another single, I believe. Savannah of Paddington Green. Again, Paddington Green. Who'd write a song calling Paddington Green a savannah? Eh? I quite enjoyed that. Standout track for me was Stygian Hand. Stygian Hand. I quite like that one. Over Jerusalem. Yeah, it's all right. And then you got the big epic, Drink from the Same Well. 16 minutes 42 seconds long. It's one of those, let's all live and let live. Aren't we all from the same ancestor? Are we not? Are we not all interconnected? Are we all not brothers and sisters? Are we not? Why can't we all get along? Hugs and kisses. It's one of those songs, and I like it. I like the sentiment, but I kind of just checked out. I think again, because you've got these instrumental passages. I think again because of this, you can do this on CD or even on streaming, which I listen to it. You see, you can divide tracks up, so you can make one song into little bits and you can skip through it. I could have done it with that, so I could just skip to the song bits. But I just thought, there were some nice bits, but as a whole thing, did it really hold together? The song bit of it I thought was all right, but the instrumental flappy bits, I just was like, Again, a lot of flute. There's an awful lot of flute on this. Again, that's nothing wrong with that. That's what he does. It's the thing, isn't it? But why not? Let's go back. Let's get the saxophone out again, eh? Come on, let's get the saxophone. No, all right, just me then. And the last track, Interim Sleep. Whoa, it's a doozy. It's a doozy. It starts with a heartbeat, and you think, oh, got a bit Pink Floyd here. We've got the old BBC sound effects disc out with sampling that, and it is about passing over. It's about popping your clogs. It's about croaking. And blimey, Ian, blimey. And yeah, that's the record. I love it. I didn't mind it. It's all right. It's what you expect it to be. And I don't know if it's because I'm kind of just getting old, and I'm no longer full of piss and vinegar. That's the dog scratching the mat downstairs. Because it's nearly 16 degrees today on this fine March day, and we've got the door open, and the dog's at the bottom of the front door, and she's decided to scratch the matting down there for some reason. You know what dogs are like. I don't know if the microphone's probably not even picking that up, and you're probably thinking, what is he going on about? But you got to. So I think I'm getting a bit soft. I think I am. I think I'm quite soft and squidgy inside. And I thought it was all. I mean, it's look. It does what you want it to do. It's got Jethro Tull on the label. It does what it wants to. What you wants it to do. What you want it to do. Anyway, before I irritate all the anally retentive people, my main criticism is the production. Again, his voice. But then if you listen to this, you'll understand exactly what I mean, because on some of the tracks they do this thing where they spread his voice out better. They thicken his voice, and it's not as reedy and thin, and they use some sort of doubling or reverb to give him a bit more presence, and I think that's what it needs. I did, like I said, I remixed the first track and I did it myself, and then I went, I'm going to upload this. I'm so pleased with myself. People will hail me. They'll go, God, Darren, you're so clever. And I'll go, yeah, I am so clever, ain't I? But then they actually used that as techniques later on in the record. So I think that could be used on all the vocals except the last track, Interim Sleep, where you want that age and that fragility. That's the personality you want. That's the emotion you want to evoke. I think that would work there. But again, it's this the modern production on records it's very samey, very sameness. Again, I don't know who produced this. I guess it would be Ian Anderson himself. Nothing wrong with that. But I always bemoan the lack of people using outside producers, mainly because the studio is kind of dead now, you know, because bands very often, you know, do it all in the box. They do it on a, I'm not saying he did it on a laptop, but, you know, they've got computer systems and people will send their tracks in, their stems in, and it will be mixed on a computer. Nothing wrong with that. But you do find, you know, a lot of it sounds just kind of this boxiness. It doesn't have that kind of thud, you know what I mean, that kind of roundness that you get. I mean, one of the tracks, I don't know if it was Stygian Hand, which I liked, but I did feel a bit exhausted. There was some splashy frequencies that were kind of making me feel a bit tired, you know. What are you going on about? But yeah, I think that's the thing. I think some of the production on these records, and Hackett's the same, it all feels a little bit, you know, cookie cutter. You know, because the industry's changed and they can do it themselves. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they should, because with the hands, under the hands of a good producer, good mixer, you might get a little bit more of an interesting record, sonically speaking. But there was one of the tracks, I don't know which one it was now. Was it Stream? Might have been even Drink from the Same Well. Or was it Over Jerusalem? But there was a nice little Indian. There's a nice little Indian influence in it with the organ. Maybe it was a harmonium. You know the hand pump harmonium. I was playing that. You know that what you get, which features a lot in Indian and Pakistani music, and I like that. I like that little worldy music feel. That was good. I like that. I enjoyed that bit. That's the bit I liked. But I'm just being critical because that's what I'm here for. That's why you come here. You want me to be critical. I'm being critical. So I enjoyed it a lot more than Rockflirt, and I enjoyed Rockflirt more than Zealot Jean. So out of Zealot Jean, Rockflirt, and I thought this was all right. I thought this was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I didn't grit my teeth like that. And just the big track I thought was just a bit. I like the shorter songs. I really do. I think they're good. That's what they do. You know, Jethro Tull aren't a progressive rock band. Never have been, never will be. It's just Ian Anderson saw that. They saw that and jumped on it. You know, you go back to their beginnings. They wanted to be a pop band. They were on top of the pops, remember? A couple of times, you know. So that's who they really are. And I think Anderson works best when he's working on short form songs. So yeah, it was all right. It was pleasant and this lovely day. Maybe it's because the sun's out, the sky's blue, the sun is shining. You know, everything's warming up. Maybe the sap is rising. Oh, I can feel it. Maybe that's why I'm feeling overly generous today. So yeah, give it a spin. You can listen to it. You can buy. Some of you, I imagine, would have bought it. You can listen to it on the streamers. I listen to it on YouTube streaming or whatever it's called, YouTube Music, and yeah, give it a spin. I think again, it's you know, if this is the last album, because he says, you know, I might peg it. I think it's a fairly okay album to peg it on. You know, I mean, the last track basically says goodbye. You know, so oh god, such a miserable song. Such a miserable song. Ian, what you should have done, right, in the old days, right, when we had CDs, what you should have done, right, is you should have had Interim Sleep as a hidden track, and you should have filled after Drink from the Same Well. It should have been like, I don't know, half an hour of silence, and then that one comes on. You know, you have to kind of wait for it. The bands that used to do that back in the day, that would have been really fun. But yeah, it's all right. It's okay. You know, I didn't get annoyed, but got to keep me powder dry for the Steve Wilson album, ain't I? Oh, So there you go. And I've talked far too long, and people say to me, you've spoken for 15 minutes and that album's only 50 minutes. You talk too long. I hate you. Like people do. Because that's people, isn't it? You didn't give it a 5-star review. It's not a 5-star album. It's a pleasant album. That's it. So I've been talking about, it's a pleasant album. I've been talking about Curious Ruminant from that there, the Jethro Tull. Really, it's Ian Anderson and Chums. And it was all right. A lot of flute, an awfully lot of flute. And I think the guitarist is doing very well. I do enjoy the guitarist. He's doing all the guitar things. Ping. That's the missus paying for MOT, that is. Ping. So I do enjoy the guitarist. The drummer's a bit of a plodder, but that's his son. And you're not allowed to say that because that's Ian Anderson's son. Remember? You've got to be nice to him. But yeah. Maybe there'll be another one. We'll have to keep an eye out, won't we? Thank you for watching. That was one of the worst reviews I've ever done because I was so nice. Because I am so nice and pleasant and genuine and honest. And that's what makes me better than all the other reviewers because I speak the truth. I don't do it for access to rock stars so they can do rotten interviews where all they do is tell the rock star how much they know about the thing that they know. That's not what an interviewer is. An interviewer should be transparent. You know, they should be there just to guide the interviewee into areas unknown. That's why I don't do interviews, because I would be brilliant at that too. And sometimes, you know, you can't be brilliant at everything. What am I even talking about? What am I talking about? Music views are rubbish, aren't they? Music's rubbish, really, isn't it? It's all a bit rubbish, isn't it? Anyway, that's that. Prog on!